from the AdventFlame News Center. This is AFM News, the latest news from the Seventh-day Adventist World Church. Concise and credible news you can count on.
This is AFM News for September 5, 2020. I am Leondre Samuels. A Seventh-day Adventist hospital in Brazil recently helped two patients feel more comfortable during their stays, bringing each a unique touch of home. On August 14, the Adventist Hospital of Sao Paulo made gestures of extra care for the patients. Joa de Cruz, 85 years old, had a visit from grief for his cat. The animal had all its vaccines up to date, and the visit was authorized by the infectologist and clinical director of the hospital, Dr. Dorival Duarte. Contact with the pet was a way to help him in his recovery. Dr. Duarte said, "I believe that small actions within the scope of hospitality end up having great benefits for patients. They can have a very big impact on patients' mental health in combating the stress that hospitalization generates." Patient Michael Lima de Jesus also had something to celebrate that day. Hospitalized for 30 days, hospital staff held a party in his room celebrating his 31st birthday. Psychologist at the Adventist Hospital, Camila Bueno, said, "The hospitality offered here must focus on minimizing the anguish of this entire process. The patient is not a bed number, but a human being who has needs beyond medicine." The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Federal District of Brasília, Brazil, held one of the largest solidarity events in the country in the form of a drive-in church event. The event brought together more than 1,500 cars from Brasília and Entorno to the parking lot of the Mané Garrincha Stadium in the capital of the country. Entitled The Voice of Hope, the event took place on Saturday, August 22nd, and collected about 6 tons of food to be donated to needy families. The program included motivational songs and messages that gave participants an opportunity to reflect on practical issues of life, the future, and hope. Viewers observed the event from inside their cars, ensuring the safety the pandemic demands. At the entrance to the event, each vehicle donated food and was then parked at a strategic point predefined by the organizing team. In this way, each occupant was able to observe the program, which also included baptisms. The president of the Adventist Church in Brasília, Max Schwab, explains the event was designed to bring people together and encourage the solidarity of members. He said, "Many people cannot go to church yet due to illness or fear, and having this meeting shows that the church is united mainly in the mission of taking care of each other and saving people." The food collected will be distributed through the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, ADRA, the humanitarian arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. During the pandemic alone, more than 920 tons of food have been distributed. Director of ADRA Brasília, Heconias Neto, said, "We understand that as a church we can embrace the communities in which we operate, and with the support of the local churches and ADRA, we can serve them better." This event brought moments of joy and satisfaction, of hope and solidarity. The Fiji Corrections Service, FCS, has signed a memorandum of understanding that will allow the Seventh-day Adventist Church to play a more active role in rehabilitating its members back into society. Trans-Pacific Union Mission President Mavini Kofonanga says that rehabilitation is a priority for the church in Fiji. He said, "It is said that many of them go back again and again because they cannot find a place outside of prison where they are accepted. Many of them come out with no place to stay, no job, stripped of their dignity. The church should be there for them." Rehabilitation efforts will largely focus on providing care and community to former inmates when they are released from prison, as well as counseling services. Fiji Mission Personnel Ministries Director Talimo Kokoba said the church's ministry will be more effective in partnership with FCS. FCS Commissioner Commander Francis Keane says the work of corrections personnel falls in tandem with the work of the church. He explained, religious organizations play an instrumental role in the process of rehabilitation and behavior change. It has a way of counseling without heavy reprimand. Coming into effect last month, the memorandum is a culmination of months of talks and a symposium that was held for the FCS and Adventist Church in February this year. And finally, on a sad note, friends and members of the Dies de Octubre Seventh-day Adventist Church in Cuba are mourning the loss of a 16-year-old member of the church's Pathfinder Club on August 25. Kendry Negrin was out walking through his neighborhood to see damage left by Tropical Storm Laura when he was electrocuted by a downed power line. He died almost instantly, witnesses said. The storm brought heavy rain and coastal flooding across Cuba and knocked down trees and scattered debris on August 24. No other deaths among church members were reported. Youth Ministries Director for the church, Pastor Levan Hernandez, said, "I never imagined I would face this situation and feel my heart so broken to see how death took one of our young people." Kendry grew up in the Adventist church and was an active participant in church activities and initiatives. Hundreds of church leaders and members, escorted by the Pathfinder Club, marched through the streets of the town after a funeral ceremony that led to his burial site on August 27. Don't go anywhere. The health and wellness segment is next.
God wants you to have abundant life. Here's this week's health and wellness tip.
This week on AFM Health and Wellness, drink 2 cups of water as soon as you get up. Drinking water already has many health benefits, but is very beneficial to get a couple cups early in the morning. When we sleep, we become dehydrated and our body removes toxins from the day. Drinking water as soon as you wake up will help hydrate your body and flush out the toxins. Water also increases oxygen to your brain, which will increase your energy levels and raise your metabolic rate. Up next, focus on hope.
Way down deep inside, what is it that you most long for? What are the unmet needs of your life that drive you to find satisfaction in possessions, pleasure, achievements, addictions, in endlessly seeking something, anything to fill the undefined void inside? The answer is found in what may be to you the most unexpected place. Find the answer today. This is Focus on Hope.
You may feel depressed and repressed. All the problems in this world may be too much to bear. But David, someone who has been at the lowest one can be, said, "I waited patiently for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the pit of despair, out of the mud and the mire. He set my feet on solid ground and steadied me as I walked along. He has given me a new song to sing, an hymn of praise to our God. Many will see what he has done and be amazed. They will put their trust in the Lord." You can have hope today. Don't give up. And that wraps up the AFM News package this week. Recapping this week's top news story. Adventist Church mourns sudden death of Pathfinder in Cuba. On behalf of all of us here at AdventFlame Media, I am Leondre Samuels. See you next week.
This was AFM News. Concise and credible news you can count on. A production of AdventFlame Media. Sharing hope. changing lives.